I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network, and this is a breaking news alert. The Fulton County District Attorney, Fani Willis, is expected to bring indictments against individuals who interfered with the 2020 election in her state by December. This, according to a bombshell report by CNN, which described sources familiar with Fani Willis's ongoing investigation as stating that leading up to the November election, there is a quiet period where we will not see any indictments, but as soon as the midterms conclude, that Fani Willis will likely be indicting numerous individuals, and we will see a flurry of activity in December. The investigation by Fani Willis initially arose out of Donald Trump's phone call with the Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, to find him the votes, and then his extortion of Brad Raffensperger of what would befall Brad Raffensperger if he didn't find these votes. In other words, unlawfully tamper with the election and change the outcome from Trump's loss to try to falsely declare Trump as the winner. But the investigation has, of course, expanded into the fake elector scheme. About 16 of the fake electors that the MAGA Republicans assembled to try to assert that they were the real slate of electors, when indeed the real slate of electors were certified. The Georgia Secretary, Brad Raffensperger, stated that the elections were safe and secure and that the information was accurate. And so part of the conspiracy was MAGA Republicans to send fake elector slates from states that Trump lost to replace the accurate and actual elector slates. Then they were going to pressure Vice President Pence not to count the real electors after the MAGA Republicans would object to the counting on January 6th, and then decide that the fake electors were the real electors and declare Donald Trump as the emperor or king of the United States of America. As I say that, to this day, I still get the chills, but that was their plan. And fortunately, Vice President Pence, while he should not be commended for mostly everything he did in an act of following the Constitution, did not agree with that scheme. And when that scheme wouldn't be followed, what happened? Violence, the insurrection that Donald Trump requested, encouraged with his MAGA inner circle. So fake electors, the call, there were actually efforts that were made by unauthorized individuals, agents of the MAGA Republicans, to access and tamper with voting machines in at least one Georgia county, as well as numerous threats of violence and harassment to Georgia lawmakers and policymakers who would not go along with the election interference scheme. Now, you may recall that Fani Willis has assembled a special grand jury that has been impaneled in Fulton County for quite some time. They've been hearing testimony, including the testimony early on from Brad Raffensperger, right? This is the special grand jury that Lindsey Graham has fought to delay his appearance before, but eventually he's going to have to appear before them. This was the special grand jury that Giuliani had to show up in front of, and on and on and on. But the special grand jury at the end is not the one that issues indictments. They issue recommendations that go to a supervising judge that oversees the special grand jury process. And then Fani Willis would have to impanel, which she could actually do before the recommendations, but we'll see the order, a actual grand jury for purposes of the criminal indictment that could utilize those recommendations, and likely will, to then engage in criminal indictments. So there's a quiet period before the midterm elections so as to not politicize this process, although it is, of course, the MAGA Republicans who have turned insurrection into a political belief that Republicans support, which is deeply devastating to our democracy and devastating and shocking to my conscience, and I'm sure yours, that that's a political view that they harbor, that January 6th is somehow something to be celebrated. That sickens me to the core, but nonetheless, that's the world we live in. After the elections, after the midterms, Fani Willis will likely promptly indict. Who can be indicted? The fake electors will likely be indicted. There will likely be a number of MAGA Republicans close to Trump who will be indicted. And it is believed that one of the tools that Fani Willis will use to indict is RICO, or racketeering charges, which speaks to an overall conspiracy and concerted conduct taken together by these various individuals to engage in all of the conduct that I described, from the tampering of voting machines to the fake electors to the threats to the extortive conduct relating to Brad Raffensperger, kind of all combined. We will keep you updated here, of course, on the MeidasTouch Network. Hit the subscribe button right now. We are on our way to 1 million subs. It's free to hit the subscribe button. Also, if you want to support the growth of this independent media channel, we are not funded by any outside investors. We are fueled by democracy and powered by you. If you want to get off the sidelines and help us this way, go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. There are different membership tiers there where you can get involved to help support the growth of this independent media network. But whether you do that or not, I am grateful for you sharing these videos. That's the most important thing you can do, is post and share. Let your family and colleagues and friends know about this pro-democracy community out there where we're calm, collected, deliver the news accurately, but are ultimately always unapologetically pro-democracy. I'm Ben Meiselas. Until next time.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs, "It wasn't rigged, you're just a loser," at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.